Welcome to my Learning A to Z English channel.
Welcome to our exploration of the Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock, and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. The buoy of the Inchcape bell was seen a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the Rover walked his deck, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, "My men, put out the boat, and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plague the abbot of Aberbrothock." The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, "The next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothock." Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So thick a haze o'erspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. On the deck the Rover takes his stand. So dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, "It will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon." "Canst hear," said one, "the breakers roar? For methinks we should be near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell." They hear no sound, the swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in on every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the Rover hear. A sound as if with the Inchcape bell, the devil below was ringing his knell. The Inchcape Rock is one of the popular poems of Robert Southey. It is a ballad, a long narrative poem where the poet, inspired by the legendary story of the Inchcape Rock, gives that one has to pay for one's mistakes. The story has two main characters, the kind-hearted abbot of Aberbrothock and the reckless pirate Sir Ralph the Rover. There are some supporting characters, the sailors who were traveling with Sir Ralph. The poem begins with the depiction of the calmness of the sea as the ship was standing still since the keel of the ship was steady. There was nothing alarming in the sea. The poet proceeded to describe the Inchcape Rock, a reef which was situated in the North Sea, close to the coastal region of Scotland. The drowsy waves were gently moving around the rock. They were so small that they did not make any impact on the bell. As the poet mentioned the bell, he introduced the wise abbot who was sensible enough to understand the danger the rock could cause to the ships during storms. So, to make the sailors alert and save the ships from being shipwrecked, the abbot had put a large bell, the Inchcape bell, atop a buoy, and had it anchored to the rock with a chain. It was a simple arrangement to avoid the disaster of the ship being crippled and getting sunk. The sea waves reached the bell, and the sound of the bell moved all around to warn the sailors who could then stay away from the rock. They thanked the abbot for his wisdom and benevolence and were grateful to him for thinking about others. The entry of Sir Ralph the Rover gave a hint of his evil intentions as he was looking at the rock with fixed eyes. The time was a pleasant spring morning when the sun was shining brightly. Sir Ralph was also in a cheerful mood, whistling and singing. but behind his joyous face was hidden a devilish thought of a nasty plan. He could not bear the fact that the abbot was loved and admired by all for his kindness. He ordered his men to lower the boats to reach the rock and cut the bell. The poet drew a visible image of the sinking of the bell. Bubbles were bursting as if they were mourning the loss of the bell. But Sir Ralph was proud of his action as he was jealous of the popularity of the abbot. He was satisfied now that none would thank the abbot anymore. The third part of the story began with the prosperity of Ralph as he sailed away on a long voyage, collected a lot of wealth by looting the wrecked ships which were unable to locate the hidden rock in the absence of the bell. They sank helplessly. Sir Ralph felt proud of his heinous deed. On his return journey, as the ship approached the rock, the visibility was very poor. It was a dark and grim day. The crew of the ship was panic-stricken, as they knew that in the absence of the bell, it would be very difficult to locate the rock. They continued roaming here and there. Ralph was also concerned, hoping that things would be normal. Destiny had brought him to the same place where he had tried to destroy others. He himself was on the verge of disaster. He cursed himself in anger and frustration. The waves engulfed his ship, which started to sink beneath the high tide. He fell into a pit which he had dug himself. He heard the fearful sound of a bell ringing that resembled the sound of the Inchcape bell. It was actually his death knell. Some invisible power acted as the messenger of God to punish him for his sinful act. Robert Southey, the poet laureate of England, wrote the ballad The Inchcape Rock, based on the legendary folk tale about the Inchcape bell that was tied to the rock by a kind-hearted abbot to save the city.
Thank you for watching. I hope you understood this. For more learning, subscribe to my channel.